the bench wasn't remarkable. Weathered wood, chipped at the edges, its metal arms rusted in delicate threads. It sat under a tree that no longer bloomed, just past the curve of the gravel path that wound around the quiet park. Most people passed it without looking. It wasn't close to the fountain or the playground or the corner where the vendors sometimes set up on warmer days. It was just there, like a detail the city had forgotten to clean or replace. He sat there every evening. Not precisely at the same time, but always within the same hour, that hour when the light thinned, when the noise from the street softened, and the wind began to move differently through the leaves. He arrived without fanfare, with the kind of calm that belonged to someone who had nowhere else to be. No bag. No book. Just his coat, buttoned to the collar, and his eyes, always focused on something she couldn't see. She noticed him the first time because he was still. Not the distracted stillness of someone waiting, but the quiet, deliberate stillness of someone who had arrived, not for anything, but simply to be there. There was no urgency in his posture, no anticipation. Just presence, so complete it felt almost private. As if the bench itself was his, not by ownership, but by rhythm. She passed him once, then twice, then every day after that. It had never been her path, not before. But once she saw him there, something small and unspoken pulled her toward that side of the park. She told herself it was quieter. That she liked the trees, the distance from the road, the way the gravel felt underfoot. But the truth was simpler, she just wanted to see if he would be there. And he always was. Never early. Never late. Just present. She never slowed. Never paused. Never let her gaze hold longer than a second. But her body began to memorize the moment, the exact angle where she would first glimpse him, the way the light struck his coat at certain times, the way he leaned slightly. She began to plan her walks around that hour. She would linger at intersections. Time her leaving. Rearrange errands. Not out of obsession. Not even out of hope. But because that hour, that bench, that silence, had become a place inside her, something steady in the drifting tide of days. And every evening, as she passed, she felt something tighten and soften all at once. A wish she didn't know how to name. A question she didn't want to ask. She told herself she didn't need to sit beside him. That watching him, from just far enough, was enough. But some part of her, quiet and growing, began to wonder, what would it mean, to stop walking? Just once. Not to speak. Not to explain. Just to sit. She told herself she didn't want to interrupt anything. That the space around him felt closed in a sacred way, not by barriers, but by intention. His silence wasn't lonely. His stillness didn't ask for company. And yet, every evening, when she approached the bend in the path, when the edge of his shoulder came into view, something in her reacted before thought, something that knew him, without ever meeting him. She still walked past. She had tried, once, to imagine stopping. Her hand brushed the strap of her bag. Her step slowed, almost imperceptibly. But her breath caught in her chest in a way that told her, "You're not ready." And so she moved on, a little faster than usual, her heart loud in her ribs. But the bench stayed. And so did he. Always in the same way, neither looking up nor away. Always with that same posture, not waiting, not distracted. Rooted. Forward, hands folded, as if he were listening to the silence around him. As though he was a part of that hour, the same way dusk was, the same way falling light settles over skin and makes everything feel thinner, more fragile, more honest. Then one evening, the air heavier, the wind thick with coming rain, she rounded the bend and he wasn't there. Her body noticed it before her mind did. The empty bench sat under the tree like it had never been touched. The space around it felt colder. The silence too flat. And though she kept walking, her pace faltered. She passed it as usual. But something inside her didn't follow. She returned the next evening. And he was there. Not in any different way. Not late. Not changed. But when she approached, when her steps neared the edge of the gravel that lined the path, he looked up. Just once. Not long. Not searching. Just a glance, soft, measured, aware. And for the first time, she saw his eyes, not full of question, not full of invitation, but full of knowing. Like someone who had also been passing her every evening, in his own way, and had recognized her long ago. Her steps didn't stop. Her gaze didn't linger. But something in her opened. And after she passed, for the first time, she turned back. Not far. Not fully. Just enough to see the outline of him sitting there, not looking toward her now, but not turned away either. As if, in that single moment, they had finally shared something. Not a word. Not a gesture. But presence, acknowledged, quiet, and whole. That night, when she came home, the park stayed with her. The bench. The light. The way the silence between two people can stretch and soften and hold something real, even when no one moves. And she knew, she wasn't quite walking alone anymore. Not in the way that mattered.